All right, welcome back. Working with Racks, DJ Vic Vapor with you. And we are all the way into lesson 14, so we're moving right along here. And in this particular lesson or tutorial, we're going to look at the power of the audio effect rack and maybe separating frequencies and working with various frequencies and creating something dynamic out of one sound. So I'm back in the Legacy 7 pack again, so if you're interested in getting this, since I'm using it throughout the course, I believe you can just go to Ableton Live or Ableton.com or whatever, and go into their packs or somewhere in there and type in the search Legacy 7, Live Legacy 7, something like that. You'll find it. It's not hard. I found it relatively easy. I've had it probably for months now, but I remember not too long ago grabbing it. So all right, so Spectral 23, we're going to take over, and I've got a new MIDI channel opened up here, and we're going to put it right here. So let's see, what can we do here? We can create, well, let me show you first of all what's going on in the MIDI clip. I think that's kind of important. So what I've done in the MIDI clip is I've gone ahead and put in notes here. I'll unfold this so that you can see them a little bit better. Notes that are going to essentially cover the full length of the bar and a full range of let me see here, full range of the scale from like top to bottom, so that we're getting low notes and high notes mixed in for this essentially. And we're going to work with creating a dynamic pad sound is essentially my goal here. So I'll fold this back and you can see the notes that I'm selecting here if you want to take the time to make those yourself. Excuse me. All right, so let me turn off the drums. We don't need those right now. Turn that down a little bit. So essentially we've got this frequency and this sound here, Spectral 23 in, and we've got our clip all set up with a wide range of notes. So what can we do with that? How can we make that dynamic and create something really unique? Let's take a look at a great way to achieve that. Pause it for a minute. And we will go back to our audio effects because that's where we're going to be working out of. And let's take a look at putting some effects onto this bad boy. All right, so let's grab a phaser, see what we can do with a phaser. So pretty cool, right? Got a phaser. Can move it around, get some really dynamic pad sounds coming out of that. But it's a long way from what we can really accomplish if we just be a little bit more creative. Bear with me there. I'm dealing with a little bit of a sore throat. So, all right. So now then I've added the phaser. I've got the auto pan, and you can kind of tell. You kind of see what's going on here. The audio effects are being essentially manipulated in serial. So in other words, we've got the sample, the phaser, and then the audio pan in that series. That's the path of the signal. So that's probably not the best case scenario here. So let's look at another way we can achieve something spectacular. I'm going to stop everything and we'll delete the audio pan and we'll delete the phaser and we'll start over from scratch. Let's go up to our audio effects rack. After all, we are on our all about racks type course here, working with racks. So let's get the rack here and then let's go back and get our phaser. There right, where did you go? There you are. Phaser. And we'll open up the chain and we will create a new chain. So one's got the phaser. Move this guy somewhere over in here. And this one we will put in the blank chain. We will go back and grab our auto pan. So essentially, what I've done now is separate those two. The auto pan and the phaser are working in parallel. Still a lot we can achieve, though. Let's see what else we can come up with here to really start to put this thing together. First of all, let me name these. So that was the phaser. And this was the auto pan. And I'm just using the shortcut on my keyboard, Command R, for the rename. Auto pan. Okay, so now we've got the now we've got the signals essentially working in parallel, but being processed separately instead of in serial. It gives us a little bit more flexibility on what we can achieve. So what else do we want to grab here? Let's sizzle this auto pan up a little bit here. We will put a reverb on the end. Kind of give it a higher end sparkle or sheen. And since we want to work on the auto pan with higher frequencies, let's go ahead and add an EQ8 in front of our auto pan, in front of our signal. And we will go ahead and create a high pass. Kind of helping identify these higher frequencies. All right, and then on the phaser, let's bring another EQ8 in front of the phaser. And we're just going to isolate kind of the mid-range, the mid-band. So let's get this cut here. And let's cut the 4-pole. So it gives us kind of that little bit of the mid-high on the phaser, and then the other side. So we're starting to get a little bit more dynamic sound. But there's a lot more we can achieve. So let me show you a few more tricks I've got designed or got ready for you. All right, so we're going to add another chain. And we are going to add another EQ8 onto this chain. And on this guy, we will do a high pass, a low pass. And I additionally, on this chain, would like to add let's see which one. Let's add a saturator. And let's say warm up the lows. That sounds like a plan. And we will add it at the end here. Bring that drive down a little bit. So now we've got the lows. I'm going to actually go ahead and Command R and name that lows. And I want to do one more thing to the low side. Let's go ahead and add a compressor onto this chain. So now what we can do is I'll bring in the drum sounds, and we can side chain just the low end. Just solo that kick so we get the sound of that pump coming through. So now you hear out of the entire signal just the low end of being affected by our side chain. And let's adjust that release a little bit. Bring that tack down, move the ratio. That ends up giving us a really, really cool effect here. But all is not lost. What else can we achieve? Let's go ahead and go back to our chain here. Let's add another EQ, EQ8 to the bottom. And on this guy, I want to go ahead and isolate a specific kind of mid-high frequency here. So let's go here, somewhere in here, maybe a little bit more right there, and then take the 4-pole again and maybe move it over a little bit, somewhere right there. So looks, bring that 1 back a little bit. I think I'm too far on that. Give it a little steeper curve. And then we will add some bit reduction as well. Now we're getting that kind of crackly, hard, high-end sound. So what we can do is we can go ahead and add a filter behind this. We'll high pass it and put a little LFO onto it. Start to shape that sizzle up top. Move that LFO amount. Now if we take the auto filter and actually put it, actually I think let's take the EQ and put it on the back end of this guy. And we can bring that volume down. And now hear that nice top end sparkle. That's kind of what I was trying to achieve. We'll label that top sparkle. And so we have a really simple spectral sound there, a full range of notes, and a very dynamic sound, all achieved from this one little rack. So let's hear what the difference is. I mean, that's the basic sound right there. And that's our modified audio effect rack on it. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool way to create your own pad and your own unique sound. I might want to bring that top end down a little bit. It's pretty aggressive. Something like that. And we can bring in some more of the instruments. So there you have it, working with the audio effects rack to make a really dynamic pad sound. Let's move on to the next lesson and continue to create and explore.